Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with FantasySixPack.net to talk about the second leg of the Monday Night Football game. The Cleveland Browns head to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field, if that's still what it's called. This game to me is going to be just nasty, and you might say, well, what's nasty to you? Is it going to be cold, snowy? What's going to be happening here? I'm just going to say nasty because it's just going to be way under. And when we get to the end of the video, I have all these recent betting trends from both teams, and it's all under. And right now, kickoff is promptly at 8:15, so an hour after New Orleans and Carolina kicks off. So we're going to be surfing and playing that game, which is a beautiful thing to do on a Monday evening after work. Looking forward to Tuesday or not looking forward to Tuesday. So this is going to be great. Cleveland at Pittsburgh, promptly at 8:15 kickoff. As I said, over-under has been all over the place. It's at 38.5. It's at 39. I've seen it at 42. What the heck are we doing? Regardless, I would be fine with taking it under like 32, under 32 points, if that tells you anything. So before I do that, let me talk about the website, Fantasy Six Pack, and everything that has to offer. This video is going to be 8 to 10 minutes. We're going to breeze through it because, again, I am recording Monday afternoon. Kickoff is in a few hours. But again, I just wanted to bring to you the notes that I have and everything that's been going through my mind today in terms of this game. I said, instead of doing short little TikToks or sharing photos of my notes and all that stuff, let's be a man and let's record a video, regardless if it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, because I want to talk to you. I want to tell you some things, and hopefully your ears will be open and you're a fan of listening to what I have to say. Before I do that, make sure you get to the website. You can become an all-access member right now. Don't leave the video to do it. Wait till after I'm done speaking, and then you can go sign up, and you'll get everything. All access members unlock fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, baseball rankings, and it is football season. No crap, we're talking about it now, and it is one of the best collection of folks in the world, in the industry, in terms of rankings and top 5, top 10. I've said it until I've been blue in the face. Fantasy Six Pack is where you're going to want to be for seasonal and dynasty formats, and me and Dave and Keith Fleming and Alan, I'm sure you've seen him on Sunday, we're here to bring the DFS and sports betting side of things up to the forefront here and make Fantasy Six Pack just a real SOB of a website to compete with. And by the end of week 8, week 10, be lucky if folks are going anywhere but our website to get all this stuff. So let's get into this game. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Kickoff is at 8:15, which I've said a bunch of times. So let's just start right off with the quarterbacks. We got Kenny Pickett. We got D. Watson. Let's start with Deshaun really quick in Pittsburgh. Right now, Pittsburgh 14th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Watson isn't the same Watson, he was in Houston, but I'd like to think he's going to find his footing this season and he's going to start to get moving and get rolling. 16.5 on FanDuel, 10.6 on DK, $30 on Yahoo. I have Watson 19-20 completions, 230 yards or so, but I do have him being accountable for 2 touchdowns and around 6 to 7 carries for another 40 yards. So to be fair, we're going to be dangerously close to that 300 all-purpose yards. Well, if you add up 230 plus 40, that's 270, so he's got 30 yards to make up somewhere in between. I don't think that's impossible for him to do. When we look at Kenny Pickett in his second year, we're waiting for that leap. We're waiting for that jump from the sky. If you collect baseball cards, football cards, people try and sell his stuff for tons of money, and people get laughed at. But to me, I actually like Kenny Pickett, right? I think he's going to be okay, not only long-term, but in this game. The only shitty thing is Cleveland, first overall against opposing quarterbacks. Is Cleveland going to run these defensive schemes? Is Kenny Pickett going to make mistakes? I don't know. I can't see the future. I can see the future, but only to a certain extent. Kenny Pickett, $15,000 on FanDuel, 9.2 on DraftKings, $24 on Yahoo. I have Kenny Pickett, 21 to 22 completions, 210 yards, 4 to 5 carries, another 20 yards, but only 1 touchdown because, to be fair, I don't even care. I'll give you the final score now or half of it. I only have Pittsburgh scoring 10 points in this game, and that stinks, but what can you do? Pittsburgh's going to go to 0-2, and when you look at this one, Pittsburgh lost week 1 30-7 to San Francisco. Pittsburgh only gained 239 yards of total offense while they let San Francisco just run and throw all over them. Pittsburgh gave up 391 yards in week 1. I'm not saying Cleveland is anywhere in the upper echelon as San Francisco is, but there is a problem in Pittsburgh right now, and let's expose it. If we can expose it, let's do it. I have no ill will towards Steeler fans. I'm not trying to get that, but I'm saying if the numbers speak to me, I'm going to give them to you. That's my job, is to help you make money while keeping you kind of entertained. When we look at the running backs, it's all about Nick Chubb, Najee Harris. What about Jerome Ford, or even this Jaylen Warren kid is getting some buzz in this thing? Let's start with Nick Chubb. It's just green across the board. Pittsburgh 29th overall against opposing running backs. You know Chubb is just going to just truck folks. I have Nick Chubb 18-19 carries, 85 to 90 yards, 2 to 3 receptions for around another 20 yards. So I could see him going over 100 all-purpose yards. Will he find the end zone? That is just basically a sure thing, right? In my book, right? I have Cleveland at 21 to 24 points. So you're looking at 3 touchdowns from Cleveland. And what are the chances that Nick Chubb is accountable for one of those? I mean, it's a sure thing. Let's just call it what it is. Jerome Ford, I'm going to skip right over. We'll get to Najee Harris here. Cleveland right now, 8th overall against defending opposing running backs. Najee Harris is an okay, I shouldn't say okay, he's a phenomenal talent, but he's been put in a crappy situation, and he's doing the best that he can. And I truly believe in Najee Harris. 14-5 on FanDuel, 9-4 on DK, $19 on Yahoo. When you look at Najee, 17 carries, 65 to 70 yards, 3 to 4 receptions, another 20 yards. I don't think he finds the end zone, and so it's just going to be all this empty yardage, unfortunately. And given his high price tag, I'm out in single game slates with him. Where I am in is with Jaylen Warren, because he's only 7-5 on FanDuel, $3,000 on DraftKings, $15 on Yahoo, 7-8 carries, 35 yards, 2 to 3 receptions, 15 yards. So if you add that up, 3, 4, 5, you're looking at around 50 to 55 total yards from Jaylen Warren. And if he finds it, God forbid, or God willing, he finds the end zone, then boom, we're in the money. Is Jaylen Warren worth a captain MVP spot? Sure. Although, as I said, I only have Pittsburgh scoring 10 points. But again, I've been wrong a million times. Just because I say they're going to score 10 points doesn't mean they're going to score 10 points. I just want you to be aware of that. So, of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, I'm going with Jaylen Warren in this spot, in flex or the captain spot. Let's move to the wide receivers, and this is where it gets interesting. Elijah Moore, Donovan People-Jones, a.k.a. DPJ, a Michigan man. I don't think Cooper's going to play, and that's unfortunate because when he's on the field, right, Watson looks his way. He is one of the better wide receivers in the game, but again, Amari Cooper has struggled to stay on the field throughout his entire career, all these soft tissue injuries, and again, as I'm recording this video, I don't know if he's going to be inactive or if he's going to play, but last I looked, it's not looking good. So let's look at Elijah Moore as Cleveland's, wide receiver 1 this week, and they plucked him from the Giants. He goes from the Giants to Cleveland. This guy's like going from these from one crappy franchise to another, but Cleveland has a chance this season to really, I don't know, do something, be something, finally get out. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but Elijah Moore right now, $9,000 on FanDuel, 6-6 on DK, $14 on Yahoo, and Pittsburgh 30th overall against opposing wide receivers. So if Amari Cooper is out and Elijah Moore is the star de facto wide receiver 1, he is going to be in every lineup I have. 7-8 targets, 4-5 receptions, 70 to 75 yards, and I think Elijah Moore scores a touchdown. So write this stuff down because I have some anytime touchdown parlays that I've already screenshotted. I've already saved on my TikTok, so you might as well go check that out once the video is done, and we can make some money tonight. That's why we're here. When we look at the Michigan man, DPJ, same rules apply. 8-5 on FanDuel, $5,000 on DraftKings, only $11 on Yahoo, 4 or 5 targets, 3-4 receptions, around 50 yards. And given his price tag, given the game, given the opposing defense, I wouldn't have any issue stacking up Elijah Moore and DPJ together. One in the MVP, one in the flex, and vice versa. I love doing that across the board. I do have Cedric Tillman highlighted in green, meaning it's a weird, I'm getting a weird vibe from Cedric Tillman here. $5,000 on FanDuel, only $200 on DK, the bare minimum $10 on Yahoo. 3-4 targets, 2-3 receptions, 20 to 25 yards, and he's one of those lineup filler guys, right? If you're going to put in Nick Chubb and Elijah Moore, and when we get to Njoku and George Pickens, things like that, we can put in Cedric Tillman and even Jaylen Warren in the same lineup, and then now all we need is our stars to hit, right? Which we should expect them to do, and all we need is Warren and Cedric to just hit value, and boom, we're riding the wave to $1 million winner or 100,000 winner, however you want to put it. Marquise Goodwin, I'm straight there. When we look at the Pittsburgh wide receivers, nothing going on, nothing that strikes my fancy, because again, I have Pittsburgh scoring 10 points, 13, 14 max. And again, I'm not the end all be all of that stuff. And when you look at Cleveland, they're third overall against opposing wide receivers. And I know Allen Robinson used to be a stud and he's kind of just faded into nothing, right? And now you look at Calvin Austin, tickles my fancy a little bit just because of how cheap he is. And you can get 3 to 4 receptions for 35 or 40 yards out of him. I'm cool with that. And George Pickens is just too expensive for me on the slate based on the projected final score and just based on the opposing defense. I'm out on George Pickens this week. I have him 7-8 targets, 4 or 5 receptions, around 50 yards, but for $12,000 on FanDuel, that's a huge loss value-wise. Why would you want to put yourself behind the 8 ball with George Pickens? And if I got to eat my words, I'll do that. I love to eat. I have a healthy appetite, and we'll move on to the tight ends. We're at 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes into the video. Let's talk about the tight ends. And there's one guy, excuse me, he chokes me up because I can see that David Njoku, to me, is going to have a big night tonight. He is for sure one of my favorite MVP captain spot plays tonight. David Njoku is their tight end. He's $8,000 on FanDuel, $7,000 on DraftKings, only $14 on Yahoo, 5-6 targets, 4 or 5 receptions, 45 yards, even maybe get up to 50 to 55. And I do think David Njoku scores a touchdown. And given those price tags across the board, it is a beautiful play. So give me all the David Njoku I can handle here tonight. Harrison Bryant, I'm straight on. When you look at Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, nothing there. Pat Freiermuth's going against a Cleveland defense that's third overall against opposing tight ends. And when you look at his quarterback, Kenny Pickett, can he get Pat Freiermuth the football? And right now, I have him 5-6 targets, but how many of those are catchable targets? And I have Freiermuth 35 to 40 yards, and he's $10,000 on FanDuel. I'm out on Pat Freiermuth. When we look at the DSTs here, of the two, I would prefer the Browns. If I'm saying that the Steelers are only going to score 10 points, how could you not want to play the Cleveland Browns DST? And again, Pittsburgh 28th overall in terms of giving up points to opposing DST. So the Cleveland Browns make for a beautiful MVP captain spot play. 9-5 on FanDuel, 4-6 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. I'm thinking the Browns see 2-3 sacks, an interception, and given their price tag in an MVP captain spot, that is going to be a beautiful thing. So when we get to the kickers, I'm not even going to speak of them. If I had to choose one, it would be Dustin Hopkins, the Cleveland kicker, because Pittsburgh is 32nd overall in terms of giving up points to opposing kickers. And I have, Dustin Hopkins, given what I have Cleveland scoring here, I have him 2 for 2, 3 for 3 extra points, 2 for 2 field goals. So to me, Dustin Hopkins is very much in play in a flex spot as well. Let me give you some recent betting trends and we'll get the heck out of here. The under has cashed in 7 of Cleveland's last 8 games. games. When we look at this, the under has hit in 7, as I just said, of Cleveland's last 8 games. The under has cashed in 5 of Pittsburgh's last 7 games. Pittsburgh 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games. Kind of meaningless. In Cleveland, 2-6 their last 8 versus Pittsburgh, but times are changing. I have the Cleveland Browns to basically steamroll Pittsburgh tonight in the second game of the Monday Night Football back-to-back bonanza, 21-10, or we could bump that up if we're feeling a little froggy. Why don't we go 24-10, and that would make Dustin Hopkins a little extra juice, a little extra razzle-dazzle. So give me the Cleveland Browns to win this one, 21-10, on the strength of stacking up Elijah Moore, DPJ, David Njoku. Those are the 3 that are must-haves for me in single-game slates. And if you want to add in the likes of Cedric Tillman and Nick Chubb, and to complete that lineup, that would be more than fair. So thank you for being here. These videos, I love to do these videos, right? And I know this one's going to be coming out a little late, but sometimes real life gets in the way of things. I have a career, I have a regular job. I would prefer to do this for a living, so send some emails to Fantasy Six Pack. You can CC Joe Bond, you can CC Keith Lott. Hey, give this guy a raise, give this guy a salary, because we want to see more of him and we want him to do more. And all I need is the bump. All I need is the bump, boys. And we are boys and girls. And we are rolling. So until I see you again, Thursday Night Football, be good, be safe. Let's enjoy this doubleheader on Monday night. They only come around once in a while, and the next one probably won't be until around Christmas time, I'm guessing, or Thanksgiving, somewhere around there. So let's really enjoy this. Let's get some popcorn, some pizza rolls, dip those in mustard. I'm telling you, you'll thank me tomorrow. And be good, be safe. Cleveland wins this one, 21-10, and we are rolling. See you again sometime soon. Bye-bye.